An entire world is ready
for you to start your career teaching the path to wellness,
mastering the science of mindfulness,
and the art of coaching
to help clients achieve mental, emotional, and physical betterment of life
through movement,
nutrition,
recovery, and regeneration.
Because impacting one person impacts a family.
Impacting a family impacts a community.
And impacting a community impacts the world.
Become an NASM certified wellness coach.
You're listening to the NASM-CPT Podcast with Rick Richey, winner of the Share Care Emmy Award for Social Storytelling and the official podcast of the National Academy of Sports Medicine.
Hey y'all, and welcome to the NASM-CPT Podcast. My name is Rick Richey, and today I have a guest that's on the show, and I love her. She is so kind, and she is so smart, and she is so intuitive that when we speak, I like to kind of just like tee her up, and then I get an opportunity to sit back and just listen to all of this wonderful information just drip out of her and into my ears. It's so amazing to listen to. She's so smart, she's so kind, and she does such a great job with these interviews. And one of the reasons I know this, because I interviewed her a couple of times for the Women's Fitness Specialist, the course that NASM has. And so there are going to audio cast and podcast within that product. And so I got a chance to talk to her on a couple of occasions there. And then as we wrapped up, I was like, we have to do this on the show. I have to have you on the podcast, not behind a firewall in a product that NASM has, but introduce you to the audience, which she's been on the podcast before, but it's great to have her back. Dr. Mallory Fox. Hi.
Good morning. You made me blush. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. It's so kind.
Well, I love having you on. I think it just the opportunity that we had to talk a few weeks ago as we went through the Women's Fitness Specialist content. I was like, yeah, we have to talk again. We have to do this again. So thank you so much for clearing your schedule and making the time to be on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always such a pleasure to chat with you. I really could talk to you all day, and it's such a great thing. So thank you.
Well, thank you. I want to talk real quick because you brought this to my attention. You brought to my attention that May is Mental Health Awareness Month and June is Professional Wellness Month. So I agree with you. I think this would be a good thing to just start off talking about. But as we get into this and start talking about it, the first thing we have to do is introduce you to the audience with who you are. What is your background? What are your qualifications? Let us know a bit more about you.
Okay, my little elevator pitch. I'm a doctor of health science and a movement specialist in Scottsdale, Arizona. I've been a fitness professional for 17 years, and for 9 of those years, I've owned my own business, Foxy Fit, where I help people to move better. And in the last few years, I've really enjoyed continuing my journey with NASM as a master instructor, and even recently contributing to courses like the Women's Fitness Specialist course. I got to write a couple of chapters for that course, and it's been really enriching to start my career with NASM as an NASM CPT eons ago, and to now be able to contribute to other trainers' growth. It's something that's really special, so I'm grateful for the opportunity.
Well, something that you also do, which I've seen on your social before, and it makes me wish that I was in Scottsdale so I could have you do this to me, is I've seen you stretching people, and I love stretching people. I have a course that I teach, like a continuing education course about neuromuscular stretching and helping stretch and all that kind of stuff, partner assisted. But I watch you do it, and I'm like, you're an artist. Like, watching you do it, I was like, sign me up.
Thank you. Well, next time we're in the same city, let's trade, because I could also use some stretching. And yeah, I got to contribute to the new stretching and flexibility coach course that NASM put out last year. And it was just a blast to be able to help other personal trainers learn the skills that I've invested a lot of time and money into. So thank you.
Look at you, just giving you an opportunity to show off a little bit. The contributor, author, putting content together for NASM and for some of your own projects as well. So Foxy Fit, tell us a little bit more about, like, what are your thoughts with this? We talked about the May was Mental Health Awareness Month, and then June is Professional Wellness Month. And I think it's pretty good for us to kind of bat around some of the ideas about improving not just the mental part of wellness, but also that professional scope of wellness as well. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's so important for, people in our industry. As fitness professionals, we give a lot every single day. And so looking at our own professional wellness habits is so important. And I recently finished the NASM Certified Wellness Coach course. And first off, that is my favorite course that I have ever taken. I shared that feedback with the NASM team. I've been lucky to have a lot of different educational opportunities, and it is by far my favorite course. So learning about how wellness shows up in our lives. There's 6 different dimensions of wellness, and mental wellness is one. Physical wellness is another, and that's what many fitness professionals are very familiar with. And occupational wellness is a third out of 6. And so, taking care of oneself in order to help other people is just so important. And I'm excited to chat about that with you today.
Yeah. What do you think about this? Because a lot of people, I mean, I'm a little biased. I think you probably join me in this. We have a cool job. Like, our gig's pretty cool, but it doesn't mean that we don't get tired. It doesn't mean that we don't get burned out. It doesn't mean that we don't get overwhelmed. It doesn't mean that when those things do happen, that we don't love fitness, because sometimes they do happen. They will happen, especially as we progress and we go on. It's a job, and it's a cool job. It's a job that I'm happy to have. And I think before the pandemic, I was telling my wife, I said, I love what I do. And even if it all fell apart, I'd be happy with the ride that we had. I think that I've just really enjoyed it. And then the pandemic happened, and I did lose a few businesses. And it didn't change my perspective. My perspective was, I'm glad that I was able to do what I was capable of doing prior to having this giant hiccup. But I say all that to say this. I love what I do in fitness. I think being a personal trainer, being a gym owner, being an educator, being able to read and consume content about fitness and help relay that to other people in a palatable manner is wonderful. And so with that being said, sometimes it can still be quite challenging. It can be difficult, and I need a break too. So, and this is me having a cool job. And there's some people out there that just have jobs, right? Like they just have jobs. What are some of these things that we can kind of work through for people out there that, as maybe as a fitness professional, we can, and even more importantly, as a wellness coach, what can we do for those wellness coaches and even some of the fitness pros that are out there?
Well, first, I just want to say thank you for sharing that so beautifully. I think that you really shared something that's prevalent in the fitness industry. I've had the opportunity to get to know hundreds of fitness professionals through the years. And, I think that we all share a passion for fitness. We share a passion for helping other people optimize their health and wellness. And at times that can be really draining. So I think first, it's just really important to recognize how much we give to our clients, and how difficult that can be, especially in times of global uncertainty. So many of the fitness professionals that I know had to make major pivots in their business, myself included. And I've gone through that personally myself. Even before the pandemic, in 2018, I was in a car accident and had a brain injury, and I lost my vision in my left eye. And, I'm classified as physically disabled. And so my journey with health and fitness changed drastically. And I went through a period where it was really devastating to recognize that I might not be able to do what I loved anymore, and that I could appreciate what had happened, that I had the career that I had in the past. Rick, what you shared about, what you'd said to your wife really touched me, because I think it's so important to appreciate the journey. And, what NASM really focuses on in the Certified Wellness Coach course is that wellness is about a journey. With fitness, I think we tend to look at a destination. We have a goal, we program our clients to reach those goals. And there's often a really set end date on a goal, whereas wellness is truly about the journey, and knowing that there's going to be hiccups along the way, knowing that life might happen, whether it's a car accident or whether it's a global pandemic, or, whether there's some other life stressor that affects us as humans, as fitness professionals. And so certified wellness coaches can really help meet clients where they're at, and to help clients to reframe their goals and to focus on creating wellness in all of the small little steps that lead to the destination.
Oh, I love that, the way that you shared that. And I also want to say thank you for sharing the story about the car wreck that you had in 2018 and how that affected your life. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Dr. Mallory Fox. She's a doctorate of health science, and she's also an instructor with the National Academy of Sports Medicine, who just finished the Certified Wellness Coaching program, and one that I'm still going through. I'm still going through it. And that's because, like many of us, I'm being pulled away in different directions. And then I take a weekend day and I sit down and I study. But it takes a lot of weekend days for me to get through all that material, but I am in the process. So I'm trying to follow suit and go through this program as well. So tell me something about this from your perspective, which is, once these hurdles come up and you expressed a significant hurdle physically, what are some of the ways that these hurdles affected you? And then how did your background in fitness and wellness and health kind of, I don't know, maybe lay a pathway or groundwork down for you to help you move past what could be a really devastating situation?
Yeah, that's such a great question, and I'll try to be succinct, and then if you have follow-up questions, feel free to ask. Because it's an in-depth answer, and it was a journey. When I was first in the car accident and I received the diagnoses, I started physical therapy, I started occupational therapy, I started speech therapy, I started vision therapy, I was under the care of a neurologist, and I did everything that I could. I kind of approached it like I would, setting up a long-term fitness goal. And my mindset at the time was, okay, if my vision therapist tells me to wear this eye patch for 5 minutes, I'm going to wear it for 10. And that mindset that I had as a fitness professional, as a former competitive swimmer, had served me really well in my life up to that point. And unfortunately, when I approached my healing and my recovery with that overachieving type mentality, I did not do well, to put it lightly. Because the brain is so complex and because there was so much going on, what I really needed to do was prioritize rest. And I didn't know how to rest. So knowing what I know now about wellness and about there being, 6 different dimensions to wellness, and I'll just mention those briefly. There's social wellness. So after my accident, I had very little social interaction that wasn't different therapy appointments or doctor appointments. So from a social aspect, my wellness was very poor. There's occupational wellness. After my accident, I couldn't work, and I got a lot of joy out of working. So my occupational wellness was very low. There's physical wellness, obviously recovering from injuries, having migraines, dizziness, nausea, losing vision in one eye, having double vision. My physical wellness was very poor. There's intellectual wellness. And so that's, I really thrive from being intellectually stimulated. And I had a 10-minute screen limit, so I couldn't read. I couldn't, listen to podcasts. My intellectual wellness was very poor in that time period. There's also emotional wellness. And, I think that relates quite a bit to Mental Health Awareness Month. My emotional wellness just plummeted because I was going through something incredibly difficult, and I struggled. And then last, there's spiritual wellness. And so that's, sometimes making time for prayer or meditation. And that also relates to your personal beliefs. And so my beliefs in fitness and hard work, those were really challenged as well in my recovery from these injuries, because I had to kind of realign my beliefs. I thought that no pain, no gain. I thought work harder to get better faster. And those beliefs were really challenged. So those are the 6 different dimensions of wellness. I can look back at it now that I've finished the Certified Wellness Coach course and realize that makes sense why I was not doing well during that period of my life, because all 6 of those were out of whack.
True, but it also sounds like you were approaching this with the fitness mindset, which is let's get to the end goal, which is fix this, as opposed to let's go and focus on the process at which I can progress. And so anyway, it's like, let me wear the eye patch longer because that will get me there faster. It will get me to where I want to be faster. Everything was getting to the end point. And in the wellness approach, it is focus on this journey of getting better, and those results will be a byproduct of the steps you take.
Absolutely. You said that so well. Thank you. Yeah. And it was really challenging because I didn't let myself appreciate the small steps along the way. I was looking at the end goal. I was looking at benchmarks like, when will my vision be good enough for me to drive again? When can I get back to working full time? When can I do like a quote real workout versus just physical therapy? And that is very much a fitness mindset. And I can tell you right now, it's been 3.5 years, and I'm still not where I was before the accident. But with a wellness approach, I'm able to look at all of the small steps that I've taken. I'm able to celebrate all of my achievements, and honestly able to reframe my career and my accomplishments. I don't know that 4 years ago I would have said yes to writing a chapter or 2 for a course with NASM. I think I would have been scared out of my mind. But coming at it from a wellness lens, I was able to say, yeah, let me try this and take the little steps. And it's brought me to a place that's really cool, and I'm really happy with where I am today.
I love it. I love it. All right, so let's go into these 6 dimensions of wellness, and depending on, and this is for people out there who are familiar with this, or if you're not, you look it up. There can be more. So there might be something where you see, and they've got 8 dimensions of wellness, or they have 5, or whatever it is. So just know that this is the 6 dimensions of wellness is something that we talk about in the NASM Certified Wellness Coaching course. Oftentimes, it's referred to as a wellness wheel. And I had to really focus on not letting my Alabama come out there, because I used to always say wheel, and used to really draw that out. So I'm trying to wheel, a wellness wheel. And the reason it's discussed as a wellness wheel, man, I'm still going to say it wrong. By the way, my EELs and my ILLs, even after living in New York for like 22 years, I still get messed up with them. I still have to be like, what's the right way to say it? So the reason I would say this, so the wellness wheel, and that's because as the wheel rotates and it moves, it should be smooth. There should be a smoothness. If you think about that circle, and the 6 components of wellness are the spokes that come out. Well, if one spoke is very long and another is very short, and we have the other 4 kind of in different levels, then the wheel is not going to run smoothly. It's not going to be circular. It's going to be lopsided. And so I think the way to look at it is trying to see if we can even out the spokes for each of these components of wellness in order for it to be more smooth. Are you familiar with this wellness wheel and this concept of trying to create balance within the force?
Yeah, it's such a great analogy. So thank you for explaining that. And it's so important. If one spoke of the wheel is, too short or even too long, it can make your ride really bumpy.
Yeah, and I think that oftentimes as fitness professionals, we may look at that one component, that physical component, and we know that there are struggles that our clients have in multiple dimensions, and we're certainly not it is not within our scope as a personal trainer to address all of those. And I'm going to say it's not even necessarily within our scope after going through the wellness coaching program for every one of these either. I mean, for us to say, hey, let's go through a movement-based wellness practice course and then really jump into your emotional and your spiritual wellness. There are things that less about doing that. It's more about coaching, right? So how do we guide people through what they want to self-direct? And I think there's something valuable about talking to our clients about self-direction. And that's another difference between being a personal trainer and being a wellness coach. As a personal trainer, we don't let you self-direct. We direct you. We say, this is the program, and these are the micro, meso, macro cycles. This is where we are in the model. And these are the exercise selections that I'm going to pull for you that I think is going to help get you to your goal. Again, going towards the result based, not the journey based. And this is something that I think is valuable with the wellness coach, is that we're not jumping to the end. We're looking at the process, and we're also addressing the coaching component, not the let me tell you how to do this component.
Absolutely. That's what I found to be most valuable personally in taking the course was, how much practice I got in coaching. And it is very different. And my clients have really responded well to it. My clients have noticed a shift. A wellness coach's role is really to understand the aspects of wellness and provide clients with tools, resources, and strategies to move towards their definition of wellness. And you really, emphasize something important. I think often in the fitness industry, our clients want us to give them the one way to reach their goals, or, the top 3 stretches. I get asked that a lot. What are the 3 most important stretches I can do every single day to, move better? And I think wellness coaching really emphasizes that there's no set path to get to a goal. And it's really bringing in different resources. We talked about Mental Health Awareness Month and Professional Wellness Awareness Month. And so it might be bringing in different strategies to focus on sleep. It might be referring a client to a mental health professional. It might be helping a client identify if their current career is aligned with their own goals. And the wellness coach doesn't have the answer. The wellness coach is, a guide, asking great questions, practicing listening, and giving tools.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned some of the things that your clients had seen But you didn't tell us what that was. Can you tell us, can you give us some examples of after going through this course, what are some of the things that changed in what you do that even your clients were like, Mallory, this is something that has changed, and I want to mention that to you. So mention that to
Yeah.
us. What are some of the things?
Yeah, I'll call myself out here. I used to be very rigid. And so, if we had a plan for the day, for the month, uh, we would stick to that plan. And I think that's, what I learned in my background as an athlete, as a fitness professional. The plan is, you'll have rough days, but stick with the plan and, modify it when needed, but, push through. And now with more of a wellness approach, if a client comes in and they share that they didn't sleep last night and they're really stressed out about a presentation that they have later in the day, in that moment, I'll talk to them about what would best serve them. Is pushing through a hard workout going to help them clear their mind and, feel energized and ready to present? Or do they need more of a restorative, maybe some assisted stretching to find a different way to clear the mind and get the body ready for the demands of the day?
Nice. I like that. And I know that you also um you do some meditation, you do kind of and we talked about this, that I had my daily practice when I would foam roll and then I would journal. But the foam rolling for me was just like, I get up in the morning and I brew the coffee, I grab the roller, I come over and sit down, and it's just like my me time. And you were like, well, that's kind of what we're talking about. There's no real right way to go about doing that, but it's taking that time in your daily practice to commit to something and to do something that brings you peace, to do something that is your time. And then I felt like, oh, good, I've been doing something that I feel like I should have been doing, but I'm supposed to's, the supposed to's of, I don't know how to meditate, and I'm doing it wrong, but let me just foam roll and have my own peace time instead. And you were like, that's good. And I was like, yay.
I'm so happy that helped. To me, that's really wellness coaching. There is no, you'll read a lot of books that'll say there's a specific way to meditate, but, truly, if we look at, the benefits of meditation, what that provides, there's so many opportunities to create it in a way that works for each individual. And what I really love about working with my clients is that every single client is different. And really, by extension, every single fitness professional is different. So taking into account our likes, our dislikes, our the way that we're motivated is something that is so important. And that's a huge role that wellness coaches have, is to create an individualized program for each person. And yes, for you, if that's something that brings you joy and brings you peace and fulfills that area of wellness for your life, then more power to you. And we might find as time goes by that those needs change. And, the best way to clear my head for me was to go for a run. And, today, the best way for me to clear my head is to do some gentle movement, some stretching. I'll get headaches still, so sometimes I'll just rub my temples. It's really about creating a toolkit so that our clients have a lot of different options to choose from to create wellness at any time, based on whatever life is throwing at them on that day.
Right. Right. One of the things you also mentioned earlier was celebrating with our clients their accomplishments, and I don't think that we should just bypass that. After hearing you say it, I even wrote a note and I was like, make sure that we talk about this again. And the celebration of even small victories, maybe even especially small victories, to celebrate that with our clients, whether they're fitness clients or our coaching clients, to create a celebration, to let them know that this is a big deal. Because I think a lot of times they do small things and they feel like, oh, it wasn't that big of a deal. So let me not put much thought or focus into it. And for us to express that as being a big deal, because a lot of times if it's not a big deal, then maybe they won't keep doing it because they don't feel like it's enough to help get them to where they want to go. And it is our job to say, look, if doing the small things will and celebrating those will hopefully allow you to keep up doing the small things. And you can only get to bigger things from smaller movement. If you just jump right into the deep end, then you're gonna have a hard time staying afloat. And that's problematic as well, because a lot of times people jump right into fitness routines that they can't handle, and they get overly sore, they get tired, or it's exhausting, or it's painful and it hurts, and they back away. So when they do a little bit of fitness, let's do a little bit of fitness, then let's celebrate that little bit of fitness. And so when you mentioned celebration, I think that that sometimes maybe we don't celebrate enough with our clients when they do small things. And when your clients tell you something, they're not necessarily telling you things for a pat on the back, but my goodness, pat away.
There's so much research that indicates that celebrating those small steps forward creates lasting behavior change. And I think that I'll just speak for myself. I've had clients in the past where they've reached their goals and they've been ecstatic that they reached their goals and they've celebrated the big goal. And then time passes and they might slide back a bit in their perception and need to recommit. And there's research to indicate that by just focusing on the destination, that final finished product, it doesn't always create lasting behavior change. So my personal experience with this, I was in a therapy session and my therapist asked me, what can you celebrate today? And I kind of just looked at her, and my immediate thought, Rick, was nothing. Like, I don't have anything to celebrate. I'm not where I want to be, and I'm really far away from where I want to be. So I was really stuck. I just kept looking at her, and I was like, and I kind of just flippantly said, well, I guess I got here today. And she's like, yes. She's like, what did you have to do to get here today? And I was like, well, I had to get past a migraine. I had to, get an Uber. I had to, get past like my, basically my mindset of I don't need help. Like I can get through this on my own. Like I had to get through a lot to get there. And when I started to list it off, I had this sense of accomplishment. And it was really a life-changing moment for me because, she wasn't telling me what I accomplished. She asked me a question. And I was like, oh, wow. So sometimes when a client's struggling, like I will ask them that. I'll say, what is one thing that you can celebrate right now? Like what's something you didn't think a month ago that you would have done? And that can really help clients to create that sense of accomplishment within themselves.
Oh, that's a great story. And it kind of lets you know that I think about this with my fitness clients all the time too. Maybe not enough, but how much time they actually commit to showing up and doing an hour-long session with me, right? Because sometimes it takes them 30 minutes to get to see me, and then 30 minutes to get back to home or back to work. So that's, if they see me for an hour, that's a 2-hour commitment, and they maybe do that a couple times a week. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a big responsibility. Now that I think about it, that it's not just the hour that they commit, but it is the 2 hours that some people commit to make this happen is significant. And so it's a big deal. So, you've heard the phrase, the anticipation of death is worse than death itself. I think the anticipation of the gym is worse than the gym itself. Sometimes just showing up is the hardest part. Just being present, making yourself available to show up is the hardest part. And once we get there, we're like, okay, well, now that I'm here, but it's getting our mind into a place where we can go. That's the hard
Yeah.
part. And that's the thing that needs to be celebrated, not just the outcome of the workout, but the presence of showing up for it.
It's investing money. It's telling other people no. It's, committing time. If you have, I have a husband and I have 2 dogs. And so when I make my way at 7 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday to work with my trainer, I'm saying no to my dogs. I'm saying, no to clients. So it's really a huge accomplishment when our clients show up. They've invested time, they've invested money, they've been vulnerable and shared their goals. And it's something huge that I know I used to take for granted as a fitness professional. And even right now, I don't always think about it when my clients come in. But I would say if that's one takeaway that I would like for fitness professionals to hear, it would be to really recognize and acknowledge and celebrate our clients for just showing up.
Oh, 100%. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Dr. Mallory Fox, and she is an NASM Master Instructor, a recently minted certified wellness coach, as a doctorate in health science, and is a friend of mine. And we've been through this before as we've had these conversations, which I greatly appreciate. Mallory, are there any things that you would like to leave us with when it comes to fitness and wellness and what the difference is, and just kind of maybe wrapping up some of the things that we talked about today, or an addition that you want to add that we haven't spoken about?
Yeah, thank you. I think it's important to recognize that fitness is one of the dimensions of wellness. And so, NASM certified personal trainers are really skilled in this dimension of wellness. And so, it can be important to direct clients to professionals who are skilled in the other dimensions of wellness, so that, we operate within our scope and we provide our clients with tools and professionals to help with the other aspects of wellness. And then last, I think it's important too to define wellness, because I don't know about you, but when I used to think of wellness, I would think of like getting a facial, or like going to a yoga class, or maybe going to a retreat. I used to think of like different fads that were popular. And, wellness, while the definition varies from person to person, I think that it's truly a personal journey. So learning what each client believes wellness is, and that can help someone to live a healthier and a happier life.
I agree. And I think the NASM text talks about the mental and the emotional betterment of life as part of the definition of wellness, that there's an active process. And I think recognizing that wellness as an active process means that you have some control over it, as opposed to wellness being a passive process. And if it's passive, then you can't really do anything about it. But the fact that we can look at wellness as being something active, something that we can participate in order to shape, in order to modify, in order to create change, then that is deliberate. It's not sometimes we're accidentally we can be active and not be active for the purpose of wellness, but this physical activity that helps with it, the social and engagement that we have, but that's active. It may not actively be for the purpose of wellness, but it is active that we reach out to our friends and our colleagues, and we get together for dinners or go to see shows and engage with each other. These are active processes. And I think they're processes that we, if we know that we have a hand in controlling, then we have the opportunity to mend some wayward wellness. And then we, as wellness coaches, have the opportunity to draw that out from other people. And that is powerful.
100%.
Perfect. Mallory, what are can you let everybody know what maybe your social is, if you want people to outreach to you, where they can do that and find you?
Sure. Instagram is a great place. I'm pretty active there. And my handle is at Dr. Foxy Fit, DrFoxyFit. And I love connecting with other fitness professionals. So feel free to comment or send me a DM. And yeah, that's the best place to get a hold of me.
Dr. Foxy Fit, Mallory Fox, thank you so much for being on the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Remember, like, subscribe, share with other fitness professionals, get the word out, and get other people involved in these conversations that we're having. I want to say thank you for listening. And if you need to reach out to me or you would like to, and the next one that we're going to have will actually be some questions that somebody has asked me. So feel free to reach out on Instagram at dr.rickrichey, or you can email me at rick.richey@nasm.org. This has been the NASM-CPT Podcast.